It's Nolan. Yeah, what you know about the first comp and the rent due, and you late. Yeah, what you know about your girl call and a miss due, and she late. Yeah, what you know about showing up to work in the rush and you 30 minutes late. We call them regular days. Yeah, that's just another day. Yeah, try to be punctual, tailor fitted like Huxtables. Feel like I'm sacrificing my pride to be comfortable. Life in an endless cycle, carving a lane to lock in my spot like it's vitiligo. I guess I feel like Michael. The press turning, got my chest burning. Only option left is collect the earnings to make a successful verdict. But shit, I'm 30, trying to get in the game. At this point, what it's gonna say when folks remember my name? Was I your late bloomer? Should I have made it sooner? These out-of-state rumors surfacing on their computers. Part of my frequency, but niggas been tripping, I got the remedy. Trying to belittle me, only tarnish your energy. Forgot my homies handshake in the hood. They say I can't return, I guess they gon' stay there for good. But that's another beast I won't address. My motive said I'm over that. Focused on this union like the Soviet is sobering. Mind playing tricks on me, this shit is brand new. All my niggas got a list of phobias they can't do. Like commitment to their girl, or resistance to the world. I'm just waiting for my moment to unfurl. What you know about the first comp and the rent due, and you late. Yeah, what you know about your girl call and a miss due, and she late. Yeah, what you know about showing up to work in the rush and you 30 minutes late. We call them regular days. Yeah, that's just another day. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody is doing well. All right, so in this particular video, we're going to be getting into not necessarily what's the dirt's breakdown of Family Matters. It just dropped yesterday, I believe, or the day before, sometime this week. It's getting massive amounts of views. He's getting massive amounts of criticism. But when I got up today, I saw that there was a bit of a back and forth between the creator of the What's the Dirt channel, Matt, and the company man, aka Justin Hunt, who's been a journalist in hip hop for many years. He used to be like the talking head over at, I won't say talking head, but he was like an analyst over at Hip Hop DX. He did good work over there, a lot of breakdowns and stuff. He's doing that stuff on his own now, and I think he's been running his channel for quite some time. Both of these men are, within their respective spaces, respected voices on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And I respect both of them. And I think there's a certain level of respect they both have for me. Company Man follows me on Twitter. Many years ago, I sent music to him to play of mine and stuff like that, and he gave me feedback. And What's the Dirt is actually a subscriber over here from the first time that I talked about his content with the, the 616 and all that stuff, the hub and the bees and whatnot. He did good research on that. He's now finding himself under a bit of fire because in his attempt to maintain some sort of, balance in the battle. Number one, a lot of people don't like that he's trying to maintain balance, which I can understand. I identify with because people don't like that I tried to maintain balance within the battle and try to be as objective as possible, even though I'm a bigger Kendrick Lamar fan than anyone else in the music game outside of Jay-Z and Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Or Nas, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody along those lines. But I do also respect Drake's music. And I think we have to delineate that I say Drake's music because I don't know him as a person and I don't know who's the main contributor to the majority of said music. There's a lot of debate and discourse around who's writing what. And I think that's a very valid question, right? But nonetheless, I've enjoyed plenty of Drake music over the years. I've enjoyed the majority of Kendrick Lamar's music, if not all of it, save a few songs on each album. But when it comes to the battle, I try to, take each song, each entry from each artist on its own merit, right? So if I didn't like something a person did, it will hold no bearing on how I judge the song, right? And I tried to challenge other people to try to objectively look at it that way. I didn't necessarily succeed in every instance, but whatever, it's cool, right? But I feel like now, when it comes to the commentary surrounding the way that the battle played out, and I'm sure a lot of people are tired of it, but now we're entering a weird zone with these two artists that feels eerily similar to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And unfortunately, in this instance, Drake would be the Caitlin Clark. I'm not calling him a white woman. And Kendrick Lamar would be somewhat of an Angel Reese. Right? Now, what do I mean by that? If you've been paying any attention to what's going on in the WNBA this season, the two rookies, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, they've both been battling for Rookie of the Year. Not necessarily that that's been their primary goal, but with their statistical output and, their athletic prowess, that's where it's led them. There's been a back and forth. Angel Reese is getting all the double-doubles. She's out here performing. And then you've got Caitlin Clark who, she's got a considerable level of talent, but she had a little bit of a learning curve going into the league. And she was a bit bullied coming in. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to say bullied, but I will say bullied, right? But the only reason I'm using it in that context is because most rookies in the WNBA get that same bully treatment, right? They get hacked a little bit. They get full court pressed. They're not able to get their spacing. Maybe they're not getting some of the calls that they would have liked on offense. But for whatever reason, Caitlin Clark going through this treatment was highly observed and ridiculed, and people that wanted to see her do well were willing to go against the entire system and basically go against every other player in the league in order to support her. That's pretty much what Drake fans have been doing all year. You know, it's been some sort of coping mechanism where it's like, fuck everybody in the rap industry. We like Drake. It's almost like how the Barbs uphold Nicki Minaj, right? So now we got in the battle, and there was this racial thing going on between, or really cultural, but race plays an issue because Drake is biracial, white mother. He did the Family Matters record. He started off by emphasizing, nigga, you didn't know, got you mad. And as what the Dirt ends up pointing out in the song, he said nigga 37 times just to emphasize to Kendrick, nigga, you cannot make me stop using this word. Even my mother being on this song cannot stop me from using this word. So that ain't going nowhere, right? All of this, y'all know this stuff. We're not uncovering anything new necessarily, which is another criticism that people seem to have about What's the Dirt's video. It's a 2.5 hour breakdown when Drake probably didn't even take 2.5 hours to create this record. You know what I'm saying? Or at least not in terms of like writing and analyzing and finding layers. He basically added more layers to the Drake song than what Drake put into it himself. I will say that, out of even respectfully. When it comes to a Kendrick Lamar, he's somebody who will sit and work on a project for 5 years. I think a person that's working on their music for 5 years, 3 years, yeah, they're more so going to analyze what it is that they're saying over somebody who in a 5-year process is going to crank out probably 6 projects. You know what I'm saying? Even Jay-Z, my GOAT, has been criticized for doing that. Remember the Blueprint came out, and less than a year later, he came out with the Blueprint 2, and it was a bloated ass album with like 27 songs. So much so that he ended up having to drop the Blueprint 2.1 or 2.5, whatever the fuck that shit was, which is an overly condensed version of that album. So it went from 27 songs to like 13. You know what I'm saying? Because people were like, yo, you put a lot of fluff on there, man. You know what I mean? What are you doing? He ain't do no double disc again. So, yeah. We got to be critical. Well, I won't say we got to be critical, but we can be critical of those that we love. I think that's the better way to position it. But I think while trying to, again, remain unbiased in the situation, we've got What's the Dirt kind of becoming a bit biased to where he starts digging into Kendrick Lamar's infidelity as if Kendrick hasn't already given us that, because that was one of the main objectives in Drake's Family Matters. Because the only thing that he could really say about Kendrick, like it was a big fell swoop at everybody else that was going at him. But the only thing he could say about Kendrick was, you cheated on your girl, you messed with some white girls to tickle your fancy, but you try to call me a white boy. And then he threw out this allegation that Kendrick is an abuser, which has been debunked time and time again. And the one instance of where anybody uncovered anything about that, it's been debunked by his location. It's been debunked by improper dates being documented. It's been debunked by even that one little video that we viewed earlier this year being labeled as fake content. So I believe they said they were paid actors in that video. So all of this stuff has already been uncovered. And unfortunately, What's the Dirt was tasked with this breakdown that he's took months in creating, but there wasn't really anything to be revealed because Kendrick Lamar has been so transparent in his own content, his own music, that it's almost a reach to try to pin on him, you're a cheater. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, if that's the only infraction that he's done, then Drake would probably be under the jail. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna like put extra weight on these types of conversations, because let's say all of the PDF stuff aside, since we don't necessarily have like hard evidence to put him in like sexual instances with underage people, we'll put that aside for now, right? That aside, he's a well-documented womanizer. I mean, if you go out your way to sleep with your peers' ladies, at bare minimum, you're a documented womanizer, right? And and they would be in the same boat playing Spider-Man meme. So that kind of neutralizes itself. What else is there to talk about, right? Not much. So the company man, aka Justin Hunt, comes out and he basically tries to reason, I guess you could say, with What's the Dirt about his N-word analysis in his video. Okay? So Justin Hunt basically says, yo, unfortunately, you're white. So trying to do critical race analysis in this battle, you're in a funny disposition off rip, and basically saying you're not equipped to try to break this stuff down, because in What's the Dirt's video, he says that he cleverly used the N-word at the start of the song to reinforce that Kendrick couldn't make him stop. And he said he used the N-word, said nigga 37 times. Drake is 37 years old, so he basically said nigga for every year that he's been alive. That was definitely a Mr. Fantastic reach, but Justin Hunt basically criticized him for it and said that he was misleading the youth in so many words. And his reason for stating that he feels What's the Dirt is misleading the youth is because he personally gets a lot of people, and I mean Justin Hunt, aka the company man, while he's out, he says that he gets high schoolers, middle schoolers, and different people that may come up to him and tell him that they watch his videos, they enjoy his breakdowns and stuff. So he basically did a projection stating that in this space, in this hip hop space, covering artists' lyrics and doing breakdowns and content around these artists, there's a lot of young people that watch this content. What's the Dirt then comes out and says, hey, That's actually the smallest percentage of my viewers. Only about 1% of my audience is between the ages of 13 and 17. Everyone is an adult, which I can attest to. Even in my channel, I don't have many people under the age of 21 that view me. My primary audience is somewhere between probably 35. Well, I would say not 35, but somewhere between 25 to like 47. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we're reaching children or prepubescent minds. We're reaching adults that are looking for entertainment. Okay. So that also is another reason why this thing is starting to begin to feel like a Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese type of thing, because now we're getting these racially charged conversations kind of lack a bit of nuance. And depending on what side of the fence you're on, you're kind of going a little harder than what is actually required. Like Angel Reese is doing great. She's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark has been playing great. She had a rough first half of her season. They had that Olympic break for 2 weeks, came back. She started busting ass. You know what I'm saying? She been busting ass. She's, you know what I mean? She doesn't need no extra crutch. She doesn't need no extra coverage of people trying to police how she's being treated because everything is okay. But since the conversation's been open and the players have talked about it, now everybody's putting 100 on 30. Not 20 on 10, but 100 on 30. Me in particular, I don't like that shit. And as somebody that's kind of in the middle with everything, I never felt like any of this was that deep or that serious. Because What's the Dirt came out today, and he took it very personally that he was being criticized by the company man. So after he saw his video, he comes out with this tweet that says, "Time to start punching back at some of these snakes. And this dude is the biggest snake of them all. Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you?" So that was his response to the company man, aka Justin Hunt. He then comes back and says the 37 shit isn't even the problem. The 37 time saying nigga correlation that he made. He says, "Call that a reach, no issues here. The issue is Justin trying to craft a narrative that I assumed all black people use the N-word. Then he followed that up by framing it like my content was toxic for the youth. There's nothing fair about those critiques. That's slimy as fuck. He knows what he's doing, and I'm not a fucking idiot." Okay? So I wouldn't say he's crashing out, but he's taking a very hard lay at something that I don't think really called for it. He releases a video kind of breaking down the company man's critiques of him. I'm going to play that video because it plays some of what company man has to say, but then has him responding to it. I was going to play both, but it's really just it would be repetitive because it's the same shit from company man. So I'm only going to play this once, and I'm going to allow What's the Dirt, aka Matt, to respond. But I don't like where this shit is going. And I don't like that this is finna open up a can of worms. Because I don't think that What's the Dirt is racist in any form or fashion. I don't know that. But he hasn't done anything for me to believe it. And I know there's some people out there that's like, you shouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt. He's white, da-da-da-da-da. That's not how I analyze people, but you can feel free to. That's on you. And I also believe that both of these creators do have a level of bias. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of Justin Hunt, the company man's content this year. It has been heavily leaning towards Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? And he has leaned toward everything that Kendrick has done this year. You know, he's put a little extra fervor and an extra bit of emphasis behind it, showcasing that he fucks with him and he likes how he's moving and all of those things. That's great. But I do feel that Drake, the figure, not the person, and I want to delineate those two, Drake, the figure, and the person. I think the figure has been treated somewhat unfairly. Everything that he does has been overly critiqued. His music has been mid. But I think a lot of the sauce that people are making, I've told y'all numerous times on my channel, people are literally making livings on YouTube right now spewing inaccurate lies about Drake. Right? Now, some people are cool with that, and that's a sector on YouTube that's growing. I've been noticing it for the last few months. My algorithms all fucked up. I see all types of fake ass shit on my feed now. These fake ass AI produced thumbnails with people kissing each other and niggas with their faces all distorted and shit. These weird ass animations and shit. I mean, I can't stop it, and there seems to be an appetite for this type of content because they get hella views. But I think it's messy. I think it's fucked up. And, I don't think anybody would want that level of scrutiny on them. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, I mean as in myself, as in you, the viewer, or anyone. You know what I mean? Judge me on what I really did or said, but don't make shit up about me, spew it as truth, and have thousands of people believe in this shit when it ain't even real. That I can't get with. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and y'all can tell me how y'all feel about it. Let me know.
All right, so enough of this bullshit. I'm gonna start clapping back at some of these people from YouTube online who are coming with baseless, stupid takes like this guy. But I'm not putting it up on YouTube because I'd only be doing them a favor. Like, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of motion. That's like, they just don't, right? So I would be helping them if I put it up on YouTube. But what I will do is fire back on Twitter. So that's what we're going to do. Now, keep in mind, this guy in particular, when I was talking about Kendrick and breaking down Kendrick's lyrics, I was a genius. I was brilliant. I was extremely nuanced. His words, right? Funny how now that I'm breaking down Drake, that has all changed, right? Now I don't understand the culture. Now I shouldn't be speaking on certain things.
I'm always shocked when people in the comments, like the analysts, people who interact with the content that I create, the videos I put out, when they say things like, "Man, I used to watch you in middle school. I watched you in high school." People will tell me all the time, "Man, when I was in high school, I used to watch you every Saturday. I'm a doctor now."
Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? Anyways.
You know what I mean? It's like crazy to me. And so I can understand who the majority of the people are who tend to watch a lot of these videos. And I imagine the same is happening for Matt. And he's got a lot of support from industry people. He's building relationships very quickly. But I'm not quite sure. And I'll say this. And I know for a fact that most of the people who are watching these videos are probably middle schoolers and high schoolers, just in general, because that's what it is in our space, especially.
Wah, 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 wah. Hey, Justin, you do realize there's a thing on YouTube called YouTube Analytics. You don't need to fucking guess at who's watching your videos. But it's kind of funny how you said you knew for a fact that all my audience is middle schoolers and high school. But let's just actually look at my analytics. Let's actually check the data. As you can see here, not a huge hit with the ladies, right? Not a huge hit with the ladies. 14%. I appreciate every one of you that do watch. Most of my audience are men, right? But when we get down to the age category, ages 13 to 17 years old, 1.2%. So my question is Justin Hunt stupid or is he just dumb? People watching my content are in between the age of 25 and 44.
Now, I do want to say I don't like the stupid or dumb thing. I've used that quote for some people, but I don't think it was necessary here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how informed he is about the company, man, and maybe that's where some of the disrespect comes in. But I don't feel like that was necessary. You know what I mean? But maybe that's just pulling strings. I don't know. pulling hairs.
For the most, 40%, 25 to 34. Middle schoolers and high schoolers aren't watching my content. So the whole reason and how you just framed your angle against me was fucking stupid.
I'll say this, and I know for a fact that most of the people who are watching these videos are probably middle schoolers and high schoolers, just in general, because that's what it is in our space, especially.
It's ignorant. It's ignorant. And it is pretty disgusting, but I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do. It's not working because it's stupid, but I do see what I peep game.
Matt, What's the Dirt, continues to make a point that in 10, 15 years from now, he wants to be the go-to guy. He wants to be the guy that has the best coverage of this battle. And probably any coverage of any battle or beef that he makes videos about.
All I do is do the very, very best job that I can. The very best job that I can. I try very, very hard to research. I put a lot of time into this. Keep in mind, we're talking about a Family Matters record that came out 4 months ago. I'm taking my time with these records. Yes, I am.
There are things that Matt just isn't in the position to properly contextualize.
Like, What's the Dirt is a really great YouTube channel to me. I think he's from Canada too, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
And so, like, his approach to it is super nuanced, you know what I mean? And you could tell he puts a lot of heart and passion into it, you know, and I think he does a great job.
And his earnest efforts to be objective, he states a lot of opinions as if they are fact.
You mean kind of like what you just did regarding my audience, claiming that, you know, all high school and middle schoolers watch me and that's it? You mean like that? Like speaking facts like that?
I'll say this, and I know for a fact that most of the people who are watching these videos are probably middle schoolers and high schoolers, just in general, because that's what it is in our space, especially.
Drake strategically trolls Kendrick by getting his own mother to start off the track, requesting that Drake not use the word.
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start by saying...
It's pretty clever because his mother probably doesn't approve of him using this word either. She probably asked him many times over the years not to use it, but she ultimately couldn't do anything about it because Drake is half black. The other side of his family uses it, so she had really zero...
Drake is half black. The other side of his family uses it. I have a fundamental rebuttal to that.
Just to tell you guys ahead of time, his rebuttal sucks.
Okay, again, when I was talking about how I didn't realize middle schoolers and high schoolers were my primary audience.
And again, I fundamentally disagree with Justin here because he keeps talking about these middle schoolers and high schoolers being his audience. However, the analytics on your channel or whomever is your primary audience does not translate to somebody else. And you're making a very, very strong assumption and assertion that y'all share the same audience. And unfortunately, I don't believe that to be true. And it ends up making him look a little crazy. So I will say that.
It still trips me out. I had no idea. I'm writing to compete with, you know, Rachel Maddow.
So you guys see what he's trying to do here, right? He's trying to frame it like my content is fucking corrupting the youth or some shit. It's a slime ball snake move is what it is. It's snaky as fuck, slimy as fuck, completely wrong, but that's what he's trying to do.
He gave probably to his mom and said clearly his dad side of the family uses it. My family growing up didn't use the N-word. I made a whole video on my channel. I didn't say the N-word for 20 years.
Bro, I could kind of tell.
Now that part I thought was a little bit, probably shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? And I think What's the Dirt came out on Twitter and basically said that this dude is literally like a Carlton Banks type of figure or something like that. And basically liken that to him as to why he didn't use the N-word growing up or whatever. And that's where stuff gets a little weird. You know what I mean? And yeah, he said that dude is like Carlton from Fresh Prince, and you're trying to frame this as me being racist. Come the fuck on. That part I don't like, you know what I mean? Because whether or not he speaks properly or he may be some, you know, I don't know Justin's educational background, but one would assume he's educated. Whether or not he is, I don't think that would lend to whether or not he was using the N-word. And just because he didn't for the first 20 years of his life or whatever the case may be, and he picked it up later, that's his prerogative as a black person. He can use it at his discretion. That's one of the things that just comes along with us, you know? And I'll just leave it there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to like pontificate or assume the company man's cultural background. I don't know his heritage or his ethnicity. You know what I mean? I know he's black, but I don't know like where his family actually comes from, nationality, I should say. So I won't go there. But I see that this is causing like a big stir. You know what I'm saying? I see Curtis King kind of jumped in, another one of the homies. He asked, he says, what gives you so much comfort to speak on black people and culture this way? What are your credentials to properly measure a man's blackness? Race aside, you're speaking on an accomplished journalist who simply questioned the intent in your YouTube coverage. Why crash out? Okay. So there's that. And I'm not going to say that he measured his blackness, but it was a little bit, it was line stepping. You know what I mean? I get what he meant, but I think in this instance, especially given the conversation we're having, it wasn't a good way to do it. And I think, you know, in this space, a lot of people don't understand your every word is going to be critiqued. Even when I look at some of my comments, and I know y'all don't see me, but whatever. Even when I look at some of my comments, right? People will point out the most inconsequential thing that you say in your video just to have a counter, just to have a comment to, you know, make one. Not to mention when you kind of overstep your bounds, niggas are really going to critique you. So I think we all got to be aware of that. And even the viewers, like some stuff, I mean, come on, man. Is it really that deep? But with this, I understand why somebody would be offended a little bit, because as a white person, it really ain't your place to be like, I could tell, because you never have the right to use that word. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna continue because this thing ain't short.
But it's not a word that every black family uses. It's not a word that's accepted in the house.
So you see what he's trying to do to me there, right? He's trying to frame it like I believe every black person uses the N-word and every black family uses it. Now, I didn't think I need to put this clip in the fucking video, but this guy obviously doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to this. So let's look at why I would say that about Drake's family.
And I'm also like, I come from a family in Memphis, Tennessee, where it's like, it's just something we say to each other, you know, and it's like.
I personally don't believe this guy's really that intelligent. I don't. To me, it's clear that he took the best Twitter talking points and regurgitated into a video. There's also the fact that the last time he made a video about me, it did really well for him. So I see the play. But what he's trying to set up here and the shit he's trying to angle against me is fucking disgusting. It's snaky as fuck. It's disingenuous as fuck. And I don't fucking appreciate it.
This is a great example of getting lost in your own hubris.
He said this is a great example of me being lost because I assumed that all black families use the M-word. And he's trying to peg that on me and put that on me. That is bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. Fuck this guy.
But he's defining this as clever. And again, I'm still shocked every day that middle schoolers and high schoolers are the ones who are most impacted, or at least tell me on a regular basis, by the work.
So you see what I'm saying? He uses this middle school, high school thing as like the basis of his fucking argument, which is completely idiotic because we just looked at the analytics. So his whole framework there is fucking stupid. Stupid.
He gives a probably for what his mom might think. He says definitely his family uses that word.
I said probably, meaning I don't know for sure that his mom ever asked him not to use it. I don't know that. Maybe she could have asked him not to use it. Maybe she asked him many times not to use it. Or maybe she just let him be. I don't fucking know. That's what the probably means there. That is what the probably means. But like, when you try to take words like that and reposition and flip it to contort whatever stupid ass narrative you have, this is what you get. This is what you get.
So he's presenting things as if they're certain, but it's not certain.
How the fuck am I presenting things as certain when I preface with the word probably, maybe? You do know what those words mean, right? Probably and maybe. It means not for sure.
And what's also really clever here is that Drake is 37 years old, and he says the N-word 37 times on this track. And I believe his reasons for doing this is he's basically saying the word for every year that he's been alive to symbolize that he was indeed born black.
Now, I talked about, actually, I don't even know if I really talked about this. I definitely retweeted this moment when I saw this yesterday. I honestly, after I saw this, I almost tuned out
I reached for the fucking stars with Kendrick Lamar. Came with theories that like he was talking about the Kill Bill movie, when that probably might not be the case. Like, the most insane theories possible, like reaching for the fucking moon. And knowing myself that Drake does and is good at taking dates and numbers and flipping them and using it in his music, why can't this pertain to Drake? Why can't this pertain to Drake when he uses the word heavily throughout the track? He uses it heavily because it is a rebuttal to Kendrick asking him not to use it. So when I noticed he used it that many times, I'm like, holy shit, he's really turning up on this song with his use of the N-word. Like, what the fuck's going on here? I did a quick Control F, and it came up 37 times. So that's pretty interesting. Now, am I saying it's a reach? It could be. But to, like, completely destroy me on it when I had my takes on 616 and Euphoria were fucking 100 times more insane, just proves that this is not a me thing. This is a Drake thing. This is a Drake thing. They don't want to hear anything about Drake. Drake is incapable of doing this. Only Your Highness Kendrick Lamar, Jesus himself, is able to do these types of things. That's what these guys think.
Let's imagine that What's the Dirt nailed this. Maybe let's say that this is his 616 moment where he's saying Kendrick is rapping from Drake's perspective. Let's say he is correct about that, the way he was with the 616 moment. Let's say that's the case. Then that would mean Drake sat down.
Like, it's funny how he gives such credence to my theory on 616, but completely shits on something as minuscule as this too, right? Like, it wasn't like supposed to be a wow moment for me. It could very well be a reach, but it is something worth noting when it, part of Kendrick's angle and the reason why Drake uses the N-word so heavily is to combat what Kendrick said, asking him not to use it.
Consciously thought out the number of niggas to include in his song. Landed on 37 because of his age.
All right, you guys seen enough. You see what he's trying to do to me, right? And the narratives he's trying to paint. Like, he focused on that 37 years old thing because that trended on Twitter. That's how I know he lacks intelligence. Because he's focusing on one of the most minuscule, smallest aspects of the video. But because that did well on Twitter, he put that in his video. But it's because he doesn't know what he's doing, though, right? This guy's a fucking snake. I'm telling you, fuck this guy.
All right. I don't like the positioning that Justin, or the company, man, let me stick to his his brand, is a snake. Don't like that. I don't think that theory of using the saying nigga 37 times was some poignant, yeah, I'm a say nigga for every year that I've been alive. That would make Drake like whoa. That would make him the corniest nigga ever. But people already think that, so I guess that's on brand. And again, I do understand What's the Dirt is trying his hardest to say, okay, if I'm willing to give all of these different theories to Kendrick Lamar and try to acknowledge his level of penmanship and his level of thought that he puts into his music. Let me try to, mirror that same amount of effort and give Drake the same amount of credit into what he's saying on his records. Only problem is Family Matters is one of the more simpler records that Drake has in his most recent catalog. If you go back, like I was talking to one of my subscribers on Twitter, and it was like, if you go listen to like Dark Lane demo Drake, you go listen to like Red Button off the the Scary Hours version of For All the Dogs. I think there was a lot of references in that song that a lot of people, myself included, didn't fully understand. Some people feel like Drake was alluding to Kendrick on that record, Kanye on that record, the whole nine, right? There was a lot of stuff. People think he was taking shots at Jay-Z again on that record. He makes reference to the industry trying to teach him a lesson, and all of this was foreshadowing on For All the Dogs Scary Hours version, was dropped last year. So that's well ahead of everything that's transpired this year. I think that would have been a much more worthy candidate for a real breakdown. But when you listen to Family Matters, yeah, it's true, a niggas like me for my AP. You know what I'm saying? Like, very simple, drawn out, not poignant lyricism on that record. You know what I'm saying? Even going at the weekend music playing in the clubs where, what'd he say? Where they looking for more guys or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounded good. To me, it sounded good listening to it, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh, what did that mean? Ooh, what did that mean? What did that mean? It wasn't a what did that mean record. It was extremely straightforward. It was devoid of entendres. The layers just weren't there, and that's just not the type of writer he is a majority of the time. We just gotta accept that for what it is. Drake makes easy listening music, and when he wants to rap, he can have bars, but that wasn't the type of bars he put forth in this engagement. Okay? So, in this video, I tried to be as objective as possible between the two parties, because, again, I don't feel like What's the Dirt is racist. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel that the company man is unintelligent. I don't feel that he's a Carlton Banks. I don't feel that, you know what I'm saying? There's both sides, I feel, have redeeming qualities, at least in this moment. I'm not putting anything on anyone, but I do feel like the battle's over, number one. But where people are taking it from a commentary perspective, it seems like people really want to engage in warfare. And I don't think it's necessary. Like, they already had their war. The only warfare that's left, if you want to like take it to the, I guess, the hip hop standard, is whenever both artists drop an album, we're going to see who gets more critical reception, who gets the more gracious feedback, who sells more, you know what I mean? Who does those things? I think that's where we're at this point. But I think it also dropped at a very interesting time, which is where a lot of people turned on Kendrick after the Super Bowl thing. So I'm sure that there's some more people that are willing to open up their eyes and mind to believe that Kendrick is less than, whatever they thought before. Even one of What's the Dirt's followers says that Justin was trying to do what Kendrick does to the listeners, using triggering things to wheel people in. And What's the Dirt says 1,000%. I see the fucking play. Shit's foul. So I do believe What's the Dirt, Matt, he does somewhat believe that Kendrick is being overhyped. The only problem is you helped contribute to it. By reaching for the moon, you kind of contributed to this ideology that Kendrick was going to some otherworldly place to write his music, which a lot of it could have been reaches. But then when you do the same for Drake, his music just does not require that level of analysis. And that's just what it is. And I think even Drake would say that, because that's one of the reasons why Drake was critiquing Kendrick to begin with. He's always called him fake conscious, fake woke, fake deep, basically positing himself as the opposite. Like he even said, if I wanted to do what you do, I could at an earlier stage in their careers. He never tried. I don't think that's, that's not his bag. And I don't think Cash Money would have let him. Even with Wayne, there was opportunities where Wayne wanted to work and have artists like Little Brother. He wanted to get beats from Ninth Wonder. Drake had beats from Ninth Wonder earlier in his career with Young Money. And I heard, and this is just a rumor, that Birdman shut those collaborations down, saying, "We not over here making backpack music. We over here to make bread. We over here to hit the charts. We here to dominate the game. We not here to make that backpack shit. You should have signed to another company if that's what you wanted to make." So, yeah, him being on the opposite side of the spectrum to a Kendrick Lamar, that's not far-fetched at all. And I don't think we need to goddamn reach into the depths of heaven to try to find some redeeming lyricism on a record like Family Matters. I don't think that's the one to do it for. We could do it on Churchill Downs. We could do it on Lemon Pepper. We could do it on Red Button. We could do it on that song off the For All the Dogs, Scary Hours, the joint with J. Cole. Like, he's got records where he's spitting and doing his 1-2. Family Matters ain't it. I like the flows on there. I like the beats on there. And the disses towards the other rappers, although they weren't magnificent, they were effective enough. But the Kendrick analysis on that record was just piss poor. All right. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. All right. Much love and respect, y'all. And much love and respect to both parties, both the company man and What's the Dirt. Again, I am not here to shit on nobody. I think both people deserve respect in this instance until otherwise. You know what I mean? Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. First I'm out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no gunner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.